It's day 13 of designing an Animal Crossing island in just 30 days using only DIYs. Yesterday, we chose spots across the island for all of the big buildings left scattered around the map. Everything is now in its permanent location except for 2 villager homes.
It's the 30-day DIY.
Today, we have to finish our island layout. If we don't finish this and start getting some decorating underway, we're gonna be in trouble. We are inching ever so close. Jungle floor, nice. We are inching ever so close to the midpoint of this challenge, and we've not really taken decorating seriously at all. And our main goal is to get 5 stars. No one is ever going to want to tour this island if it looks like this, okay? Of course, our other goal is to get 3 top 50 villagers. And today, I have a campsite visitor, and I can only hope that it's finally Flippin' Poppy. Wait, Poppy's here? Guys, a new campsite villager. Oh my gosh, it's time. Oh, I don't know, guys. We've been here before. I don't think I could do this again. Hey, it's gonna be fun. Yeah, Poppy's in there for sure this time. Here we go, guys. I can't wait to meet her. It's Clay. Now, as much as I'm not like a huge fan of Clay, I will give him this. Number 92 on the list. So in the top 100. Now, top 100 is not good enough for us, so we're gonna let Clay just sit here on the beach. But I mean, that's something. We're getting closer to more top 50 villagers. The next thing I'm gonna do is take a captain boat ride. Now, there was some speculation in the comments a couple videos ago about how I'm probably not gonna see crops on these islands until I learn how to cook. And indeed, there are no crops, but there are vines. There's also moss and some new shrubs as well. So this is not a bad island. I'm pretty happy with this. This is our second captain island, I believe, and the last one was a total scam. But here's the thing about unlocking cooking. You see, you get these DIYs on the beach and villagers are always making stuff. As soon as you learn cooking, ooh, giant vine, it diminishes the amount of DIYs you see that are just items. And as much as I like decorating with food, I don't use it a whole lot. And it's food, it's not very big. We have to decorate an entire island. So if it's true that I'm not gonna see crops on these islands until I unlock cooking, that's okay. We're either going to save that for later in the challenge, or I'm just never going to learn cooking. Oh, and I just realized I kind of played myself a bit. I have too many trees in my inventory. In any case, getting the giant vine recipe without using Happy Home feels really good. The giant vine does take, oh, nice gold. It does take a lot of vines. So that's something, but hey, it's a great recipe. If we can even make 1 giant vine, we can probably kind of decorate around it and make something pretty cool. Because of my inventory and the fact that I want to gather some other things, I'm going to leave the shrubs behind this time. And it's because I already have some and I don't even know what I'm going to do with them yet. So I'm not in like a super rush to get more. I will move this one out of my way though. And I've just broken my axe. If I'm not mistaken, you cannot get sticks from these trees, although I'm going to try anyway. But I actually can't make a new axe. And per my own rules, I can't buy any tools at all. So I guess I'm done chopping trees here. I'm back home. I crafted a new axe, and I think it's time to put down my first new floor. Here we go. Ah, much better. You know, honestly, it doesn't feel like it changed anything in here because the color scheme is so similar. Okay, no more messing around. We have to do our dailies, and we need to move another building. And we need to craft a shovel. I actually have a flimsy shovel on me already, which is good. And I also, oh shoot, I didn't mean to do that. I was gonna say, I need to scoop up these flowers. These were also flowers that I got, I think, from Tom Nook. They're not supposed to be here. And now they're starting to grow in the way of my rock. And you see how that messed me up. So yeah, these flowers are as good as gone. And here is what Able Sisters is looking like in its new home. We'll go ahead and fill this path in once again. See the finished product here. Yeah, I like that. So Nooks is gonna go right here. And this area is gonna feel really busy, which I love. We found out that Paul is crafting. Let's see what we get. Wooden mini table, which I already know. Finally found the money rock, which I really need. Got all the fossils. I think what I'm gonna do for now is put my excess trees up here, at least the cedar ones. And it's just to get them out of my way for now. They're definitely not staying up here, but I gotta free up my inventory. Looks like none of the fossils we dug up need to go into the museum, which I'm fine with because I could use the money. And it looks like with all the junk that I have and the fossils, we're getting 13,000 plus bells, which means we can plant our money tree, chop up our fully grown money trees, and move Nook's Cranny to its new permanent location. While we're at it, we'll buy our song and some new fence recipes. And this is unexpected, but Eric wants me to deliver a gift to Paula. I'm going to do it. I like Eric. Eric is my only top 50 villager right now. I couldn't turn down a request. I couldn't do it. On my way there, though, I will place down Nook's Cranny. I think it's going to look pretty good. This is for you. And yeah, sure, you look great. Now, please don't give me your trash. A wrestling singlet? What are you... Is that what you were wearing before? What's going on? I don't want this. And Eric is pleased with me. Now, with all of that finally out of the way, we can begin work on, like I said, the rest of the island layout. This is going to be an interesting day because one of the things we're going to do is start placing down, I think, the last of our paths, or at least most of them. And to do that, we got to make like a lot of rapid fire decisions here because I don't want to be at this all day. And here's my first problem. As I go down here and start to stretch this path to the south, you will see a problem that becomes very apparent. And it's not these two trees. Those are not an issue. It's not the third tree coming up. Also not an issue. No, it's this place. This dreadful flower garden that I used to get 3 stars. Now, I knew this would have to move at some point, but I really did not consider the full consequences for what I was doing and where I was placing this. Digging all of this up is going to take so many shovels if I don't customize them along the way. Definitely patience, like a lot of patience. Let's get ahead of this and just start buying customization kits now. And then I'm going to start digging a path through these flowers. I'm going to talk you through my thought process here because I think I have a way to not only save us some time with this, but also I think I have a pretty good design concept as well. As you know, with a 5-star island, you still need a bunch of flowers. It's not like I can just throw these away. So having a big cluster of flowers somewhere on the island probably isn't a terrible idea. So here's what I'm thinking. We let this path come down, and we don't dig up every single flower here. We dig up just enough so our 4-tile wide path can get all the way down to where it needs to go. And then as this path runs south, you realize that you are actually in a big flower garden. Because as you're likely well aware, we have a lot of big open areas we need to fill in. And having a place to grow some hybrids, probably not a terrible idea. They could make fantastic flowers to decorate with around various parts of the island. And yeah, it's just a good excuse to fill a big area and gets us closer to 5 stars because, again, we're going to need a certain amount of flowers. Now, the way I'm imagining this in my head, I still will need to dig up every single one of these flowers to do it the way I want to do it. But, you know, we can just leave most of them here for now and kind of chip away at this over time. We don't have to make this one big today problem. So for now, that is the plan. And I have removed enough flowers to begin paving the path, but I'll have to fill in these holes. I'll have to remove these trees as well. I just really need to see this area nice and clean because this is going to also determine part of our grid that I mentioned last episode. We have to make kind of a grid, and we're going to put things within the different path grids that we end up creating. So as this path runs down, it needs to connect to other paths that run in other directions. For example, I'm sure you noticed that we're not too far away from the entrance of this island right over here. And we're going to want a path coming up from the entrance and leading into all the other fun areas. So lots to figure out. And in my quest for food, I went ahead and just chopped down a bunch of the local fruit trees. It's because I'm probably not going to be decorating with too many cherry trees, and planting more of these is just as easy as planting some cherries, and I could use the supplies. So these are gone now, and I'll use these cherries to pick up these trees over here, get them out of our way. If you couldn't tell, this section of the island is going to be our most crucial section that we work on today because it kind of determines where the paths go on the rest of the island. If that doesn't make a lot of sense to you, it will soon enough. Okay, so it's time to take this path and just kind of run it south and get it to probably the beach or at least close to it. I don't know how far south these paths are going to go. I think it kind of depends on how we do our airport entrance. And I have an idea for that in my head is pretty unique and will work pretty well. All right, the path is done. Now we need to go to the airport and make a few decisions. As you know from the very beginning of this challenge, airport and resident services, they didn't align themselves too well. They're a bit out of sync with each other. Here's the airport entrance, and then resident services is centered with this fire pit. So we have plenty of room between the two, but they did not line up. Now, that's not a balloon. That's not a huge deal because I think I have a way of remedying this situation that'll look pretty cool, and it'll make it feel like they lined up. The balloon was filled with clay, which is fine, I guess. Now, I'm not exactly sure if I'm going to keep this little seating area we made or not, or at least maybe customize it some more. That's probably what I will do. But this path should be centered with resident services. Oh boy, I have my doubts now. Yeah, I'm gonna say it is. Okay, so this path centered with resident services, we're gonna bring it straight down. Now, the ramp that leads up to the airport may not have centered with resident services like we would have wanted it to, but you know what did? The rest of the airport. I mean, I think this is literally centered with resident services. It's just that the off-ramp isn't. And realizing that, you can kind of start to play around with what this looks like to the person who gets off the ramp, right? So we're a couple tiles off. It doesn't matter though, because some more path will be right here. And then what I'm thinking from here is we lean into the asymmetry a little bit. What if we got rid of this pond and we took Stinky's house, which is over here, and moved it kind of where the pond is and created an information center. So when people land on the island, they see Stinky's house and they know that this is a place where they can barge in and get information about the island. Now, is this something Stinky wants to have happen while he's just trying to like live his life? I don't know, not my problem. But it's blue, which, I don't know, reminds you of, I don't know, an information center, and it's the first thing you'll see when you come off the ramp. I don't know where else to put Stinky's house, okay? So I think Stinky is gonna need to earn his keep, and in this way, he just kind of gets a job, you know? He's paying it forward. You know, we've given Stinky a lot, and now it's time for Stinky to return the favor. Deciding the exact placement of this information center is going to depend on kind of how we want to make our paths play out here. So there is going to be a point in which these two paths kind of connect, and I need to decide where that is, because I think this is a bit too low, but it's almost right. So let's first try something like this. We'll have Stinky's house just here off the path. Our path goes right up to the front door, and we have enough room, I guess, to bring this all the way over and have it connect upwards to this path. This also leaves a bit of room right here for like a sign that says like info center or something if we wanted to. And I think this is probably a good way to deal with the unaligned airport ramp. I think this actually works really well. So the road will go up here. We'll figure out what to do with this later. And now that we know that we are indeed bringing this road all the way to the very southern edge of the island, we can start to go over here and think about how these two roads will connect. So we bring this path over, and what that's going to do is create a big section in between the two paths that we can do whatever we want with. Now, we've already talked about maybe doing a flower garden around this path. So a good chunk of this area over here, so this could be flower garden, and this could be flower garden. We would still have some space, I think, left over right in here. And we could decorate that however. Maybe we put some fences that run up here so it separates the flower garden from this stuff. Maybe there's like fruit trees leading up to this seating area and resident services. That could be kind of cool. It doesn't matter. We're not focused too much on the decorating part just yet. Right now, it's all about the layout. This, of course, does mean that the flowers I just got finished moving did end up right in the way of where I was trying to put down some paths. I could leave them for now and, again, just not worry about placing them. You know what, actually? This is an interesting turn of events here. The beach starts to encroach right here. So having a path that runs down to here doesn't really work, does it? Because, let's see, does it line up? Oh, okay, I think the bottom of the path is as low as it could possibly be. No, we're good. That was close. Okay, so I will start to pave from this path over to the entrance, but we probably won't connect it right now because we have other parts of the island we have to work on. So here's what our map is looking like so far, and as you can see, the grid layout is starting to come together if you just look at the paths. So now we're looking to extend this road all the way over to here, and this is where you get to where I'm going to be living. So this road is going to run across the front of my property. Eric's house will move. And what I probably should do now is finish up the little cliff area because I have another idea. Oh, I see a balloon. We're about to lose it. Go, 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 go. Wait. Oh, that was that was really close. It's probably just going to be more clay. Oh, no, it's a recipe. It's something I'll never use, but I'll take it. Okay, we'll get this tree out of our way. So I'm thinking for the entrance of my house, from the main path, we'll have two more narrow paths going up to the staircases. And again, this leaves room on the sides for, like, a farm. And if we never get crops, by the way, that farm is just going to be various fruit trees, I've decided. I'm not exactly sure what it's going to end up being between those two options, but I'm happy either way. I think fruit trees will look really nice and make us some money. I also think crops like wheat fields and potatoes and stuff will also look nice. So yes, 2 paths running down, and then we're gonna split all of this up with a waterfall and a little river in between the paths. And I think that's gonna look pretty nice. We can maybe put some flowers along the little river, and I don't know what it's gonna lead to, if it's gonna lead to a little pond, or if we just kind of have it stop abruptly and we'll decorate around it. I'm not sure. But I do like that aesthetic. I think that adding water features to your front yard makes you look really rich, and that's the image I'm trying to portray here. I'm trying to show that even though this is a DIY only island, that doesn't stop me from being super, super rich. So this island layout is coming together, but that only leaves now one thing left, and that's Eric's house. Where the heck are we going to put Eric's house? Well, let's kind of finish up the river that we started a while back, because here's what I'm thinking. We take this new path that's going to run in front of the information center and then continue having it go this way, about maybe to here. And then we go all the way up north with it, leaving another space between, our main path and stuff we can decorate around. And we hit this river right here. We'll place a bridge, and then once you're across, this wooden path will be stretched all the way over to here, leaving a whole bunch of room to kind of decorate around it. And then from the wooden path, I think we go up and we put Eric's house somewhere up here. I think Eric could have his very own plot, and he could run some other business. Like I said last time we were down here, maybe it's like a kind of a fish market or something. I don't know, but we'll put some stalls. He'll just have his own little at-home business back here. Before we decide exactly where that goes, though, we should determine how many tiles are between these 2 roads right here to see if it's possible to put the same distance between this path and then the one we place over here. We don't have a lot of room, so I'm not thinking we can pull this off, but it's worth trying. So it's exactly 12 tiles in between this path and this one over here. Let's see if we have 12 on the other side. It's kind of as I feared. This hole represents the 12th tile, and then this path could only be 3 wide. Probably all the way up as well. And then, to make matters worse, we would eventually run into this janky section of the river, and we wouldn't be able to center the bridge on that path. So we are not going to worry about making the paths perfectly even in this case. This is, again, the fault of resident services. You can't really control the environment too much when it comes to resident services. So we're just going to roll with it. 12 is an even number, so I'm going to keep another even number between these 2 paths. If I wanted to stop here, this would be 6, and that is, half of 12. And what's interesting about splitting this up and having a line right here for 6 tiles on this side is that we know the flower garden we're making isn't going to come all the way over to here. We said we wanted something to divide the flower garden from this kind of entryway area, right? Well, maybe this is our answer. So this won't be a path, but maybe a fence or something runs straight up right here. And then this path goes up this way. And now we have 2 areas around this main path that are, even, and we can do kind of symmetrical things in those spaces. Listen, I know numbers are scary, and I've confused myself right now too, but it's going to be okay. As the paths come together, you'll see it all kind of start to make sense. So we've reached the river with our new path, and this is where a bridge will go. And that means we've completed our outline. I'll go ahead and connect these here. It's just funny to me. I know there are people who are out there who are going to look at this layout that I've done and think that is the most boring Animal Crossing island layout I have ever seen. But listen, I enjoy building this way. I enjoy making paths first and then creating little spaces in between them that have a little more character and intrigue to them. So I still think this is going to turn out pretty cool. And I think the only difference between this and other islands I've done in the past is that I've really committed to having these big, wide paths. And that's just mostly due to the fact that I'm going to struggle when it comes to getting items. So, yeah, I don't know. It is just kind of funny. I know that not everyone builds this way, but I love it. I love this style. Okay, I've now stretched out I'll call it the boardwalk path along this side of the river. And we have our final area that we have to plan out here. Again, this is where Eric's house is going to be, but I'm kind of torn right now. I was thinking the junkyard is actually really not a bad spot for Eric's house, because not only does he have all this space over here, but he also has some area on the beach and this big rock. So I might actually disassemble the junkyard. We could have a junkyard in the future, but this was always kind of supposed to be a temporary build anyway, just to get us to 3 stars. But I ended up really liking it. It's a cool build. I'm thinking we get rid of it and maybe move it in the future or something, and then we leave the space over here just in case, because there's a good chance I might want to extend this cliff, and I'll really regret having his house down and then not being able to do that later on. So yeah, let's go ahead and, well, that's going to be difficult. We'll chip away at it. All right, just picking up the last of the junkyard, and we have to figure out exactly where I want his plot now. I don't want it like right on top of the rocks or the sand or anything, meaning I don't want it too close to those things. I want to leave a little bit of room even behind the house, because I'm thinking we could maybe surround this in like some palm trees and stuff. It could look kind of cool. And then give him a little like side yard here. So maybe we put it, this is a bit random, like a bit arbitrary, but maybe we put it like right here. How many spaces does that leave us between the rocks and the house? It looks like 3. Okay. So that does mean we can plant a couple trees back here still. Yeah, I like that. I think this is good. We have a little side yard. We have enough room for a path to go up to it. And I'm not going to make that path just yet, because this is where we might add a little more of a natural look to this. Maybe a path that kind of like winds up and comes up to here. And then we can put some stuff like along the way. I don't know. I want Eric's house to be just spectacular, because Eric was our very first top 50 villager, and just honestly incredible. One of the best villagers in the entire game. And even though the map looks pretty messy, the island layout is complete. Everything has been planned to a T, and I cannot wait to start decorating. Ooh, I just got water flooring from a balloon on my way back to the entrance. That is awesome. More floors, yes please. The next things on our list include a big island cleanup. We gotta move trees and flowers. We need stuff kind of out of our way. And then I think we need to do like a massive DIY run. We do not have enough DIYs for this project, and we're getting so close to needing all of them. So once those projects begin, the video will be on the screen right over here. You can go check that out. In the meantime, I have work to do.